Hello and welcome to the SCA Cricket Show. I'm your host Shazad Haq. Well, as usual, another exciting episode coming up. We'll start with domestic action, and Division 1 of the Griffin Kinetic League comprises of 8 of Singapore's best cricket teams, and almost all of them were in action over the past weekends. Here's what happened.
The SCA Colts took on the SRC Kings in the first match of the Griffin Kinetic League Division 1 on the 18th of March 2012 at the Kallang Cricket Ground. The Kings won the toss and elected to bat, putting on a total of 179 before they were cleaned out by the Colts in 45.2 overs. The SCA Colts in reply racked up 77 runs in 19.3 overs for the loss of 2 wickets. And the game was poised for a thrilling finish before rain played spoil sport, with the sides left to share the spoils. The Kings got off to a shaky start, with Sinache Malaniwala making the first exit for a duck. The opener was legged before wicket to an intelligent delivery by Mohammad Razak. The next 3 of the top order managed only 33 runs between them before being shown the exit door by the Colts bowling attack. The Kings managing 179 in their outing. The SCA Colts looked to be galloping toward the victory line as they took to the field, with Reza Ghaznavi and Sadaj Nuja putting up a fighting 71 in 17.3 overs. The match looked to be heading towards a close finish till rain called off play, with the teams forced to settle for 5 points each. Sadaj Nuja was unbeaten on 46 runs for the Colts, while Indika Fernando produced the best bowling figures for SRC with 2 for 8 in his 2 overs. In our next match, the SCC Lions bared their claws at the MCC Knights on the 18th of March 2012. The Lions posted a winning total of 302 runs for the loss of 8 wickets. The Lions got off to a roaring start after being put into bat, with Andre Delange and Andrew Goldsmith blasting their way to 116 overs. The Knights heaved a sigh of relief when Goldsmith was dismissed leg before wicket by B.B. Rajendran for 50. Skipper Rob Hands and Lange then took the total to 156 before Hands was caught Hiran bowled Tarun for 31. The next 4 wickets fell for 30 runs, and finally Danger Man Delange was caught Hamadur bowled Tarun Chordea for 144 in the 48th over. It was a little too late for the Knights, with the Lions opener helping his side to a commanding total of 280. Andy Delange's time at the crease saw the opener smash 16 boundaries and 2 sixes on his way to 144 in 121 deliveries. As for the Knights, their reply started off on the wrong foot, with V.B. Rajendran being bowled by Arun Vijayan for a duck. Following which, the wickets fell at regular intervals for single digits, with the only exceptions being Bashir Ahmed's 34 and Manoharan Krishna Raj's 28-run effort. The MCC Knights were all out for 100, with Nicky Barrett being the architect of their destruction. Barrett finished with figures of 4 for 20 in his 5-over spell, with the Lions winning by a huge margin of 202 runs.
Yeah, I think we couldn't have asked a lot more, actually. First game of the season was always a little bit tough against a team we didn't know a lot about. But I mean, they played well, but I think our guys were just exceptional. You know, we got off to a great start. Andrew Goldsmith on debut, you know, a quick 550, really put them on the back foot, and then we just were able to build and build and build. And, you know, 300 on any wicket in any game of cricket is going to be a very tough chase. And then we bowled beautifully early on, and then, you know, pretty much dominated from then on. It's a great win, and the performance is the thing that gives the great, you know, most pleasing aspect. But you know, you don't win anything. You don't win any league medals after one game, and it's a long season ahead. And the good news is, if we perform like that for the rest of the season, then it's going to have to be a very good team that beats us. But we just got to start replicating those performances. You know, for the rest of the season. We dropped a couple of catches, which is difficult, but it happens in cricket. I think I was really pleased to see guys running well between the wickets. That's something we've worked on a lot in pre-season. I think the guys bowled good areas, although a few too many wides. So a little bit more disciplined with the ball and in the field. But I can't really fault the batters. We got 300 and we batted well all the way through. We lost a couple of wickets in quick succession, which is something again we'll look to work on. But generally very pleased. Yeah.
Coming up, more action from the Griffin Kinetic League as the competition heats up. Welcome back to the SCA Cricket Show. Let's continue with action from the Griffin Kinetic League Division 1. These 50-over matches are played all over the island under the hot Singapore sun.
In more action from the Griffin Kinetic League Division 1, Ceylon Sports Club 1 and Indian Association 1 met on Sunday the 25th of March at the Ceylon Sports Club. Indian Association 1 won the toss and elected to field but found it hard to contain the free flow of runs as the CSC1 batsmen put up a defendable total of 245 after 49.4 overs. In reply, the IA1 batting order made a good start but collapsed soon after as they were bowled out for 154 in just 35.4 overs. CSC won, making it a memorable 91-run win. The sides have always been fierce cricket rivals, and this time round it was the Ceylon squad that got off to a flying start, with Prabhu and Rajagopal's 93-run opening effort. Slack bowling and fielding by the IA showered the runs on their rivals, with CSC1 getting 39 from just extras alone, eventually making 245 just before the last batsman made an exit from the pitch. IA1 took the field with purpose but were hit by a hurricane called Suresh Appusamy, who crippled their batting order, dismissing 4 for 35, including the top 3 batsmen in the Indian side. Pramod Raja's haul of 3 for 39 destroyed all hope of an IA1 comeback in the game, with CSCI registering a convincing 91-run victory. IA's Deep Patel was the standout batsman of the game as he smashed 7 boundaries and a 6 on the way to 65 runs.
Today was a fine performance. We started off really well, except that in the middle we sort of lost our way. I thought we came back really well, and the last 10 overs we took our singles, we took our boundaries, and I think the lower middle order did very, very well to reach the score we did, 245. And at that point we thought 245 was about a 75% to 20% score.
We need to improve our batting in the middle order. Then other than that, our bowling wise is good, and only the batting we need to score a little bit more. Actually we should have scored more than 250. Then some collapse, then we still we got a good score.
In our next Griffin Kinetic League Division 1 game, SCC Lions and MCC Knights took to the green once again after their last encounter a week back, in which the Lions triumphed by a 202-run margin. It was deja vu all over again, with the SCC Heroes winning by 123 runs this time round. The SCC Lions won the toss and elected to bat, putting 234 runs on the scoreboard before bowling out the Knights for 111. The Knights rejoiced when Andrew Goldsmith was dismissed by Noor Jamal for just 4. Skipper Rob Hands walked in when the Lions were 13 for the loss of 1. Along with Andre the Lange, Hands took the team's tally to 108 runs before falling leg before wicket to Tarun Chordia for 51. The Lions skipper lofted 7 deliveries over the ropes in his innings. The Lange was back among the runs as well, with his contribution of 69 runs, while Riaz Hussain scored a swashbuckling 39. The SCC lads winding up their performance at 234 for 7. The MUCC Knights' reply failed to get off the ground, with the first 5 wickets falling for just 39 runs. Rajendran made all efforts to rebuild but kept losing partners, and come the 43rd over, it was the end of the line for the Knights, who struggled to get to their total of 111. Arun Vijay's 3 for 18 and Brad Peterson's 3 for 14 had the MUCC squad in a chokehold for much of the game.
I reckon that we really bowled well, batted well as a unit, and it's a good start for the season. There's a lot of stuff that we have to build on. Basically, it's the second game, and we have to improve a lot of stuff if we really want to take it further in this competition. We've got a young side, new faces, and looking forward to the team's performance in the next few games. You always just have to take it as it comes. I mean, every game, every situation, every wicket in Singapore is definitely different. It's slow, it's hard work, and you have to basically cash in when the chances come. And I think today was very much tougher than the previous game against MUCC. I reckon that I should basically, for my own performance today, work a bit harder, have more patience. That's the name of the game, right? So yeah, it's a great kickstart for SCC. I mean, we want to play positive, good cricket, and I think for the whole Singapore as a whole cricket setup, I think it's a positive attitude and a positive trend we can work on, and especially for our club, we really want to kick off with a good season and just play some great positive cricket. Yeah.
In other results, V. Kadiresan's 107 helped the SRC Kings register a thumping victory over the SCA Colts when the sides met at the Singapore Recreational Club on the 25th of March 2012. The Kings posted 269 on the scoreboard before bowling out the Colts for just 67 runs.
Coming up after the break here on the SCA Cricket Show, it's time to take cover as we look at the Season Pro Indoor Cricket League. Welcome back to the SCA Cricket Show. The Season Pro Indoor Cricket weekday and weekend leagues are in full swing, and the tables are beginning to take shape, with some teams clearly moving ahead of the pack. We'll start with weekday action, which is at the Cage in Kallang.
It's over to the thrills of indoor cricket now with the Weekday League. In our first encounter, Team SRC took on BK Chui Kwe. SRC put up a healthy total of 130 for the loss of 4 wickets, with Pratap's 28 being the highest score for his side. Along with Iran Fernando, the pair brought up the best partnership in the game of 50 runs. Chui Kwe's Sai was the pick of his team's bowlers, with his effort of 2 wickets for 9 runs. Tim Jaja and Prashant Kotian led the fight back for BK Chui Kwe with a partnership of 41 runs. But in the end were no match for SRC and went down 85 for 5 in a game which had Mohan Kumar plucking 2 scalps for 2 runs. SRC clear winners by 42 runs. In more Weekday League action, Comworks and BK Rojak played out a one-sided affair. BK Rojak piled on the runs, finishing their innings at 177 for the loss of just 1 wicket. Jonathan putting a stellar performance on display with a quick 42 runs. Along with Andy, the pair steadied their team's innings with a 65-run partnership. The pressure was on Comworks from the start, and Neeraj scored a valiant 20, but Mani's haul of 3 wickets for 3 runs did the damage as Comworks collapsed at 46 for 9. BK Rojak romping home with a 131-run triumph. This is how things shaped up on the Weekday League table. It's a tight affair at the top with 4 teams tied on 12 points each. Power play were at the summit due to a better run rate, while Octopus, Organised Chaos and BK Durians stayed close to the leaders in 2nd, 3rd and 4th spot respectively. time to leave the working days behind as we dive into the weekend league action. Wanderers have been bottom dwellers in Group B for a while now, and come March the 25th, they were eager to get their morale back at the expense of SCA Kings. That's exactly what the Wanderers achieved as they racked up a total of 82 runs for the loss of 2 wickets. Venkat and Adnan built the foundation for a win with a joint effort of 44 runs. Adnan's feisty 23 was the best individual score in the game. Deepak and Tushar put up a 25-run stand but failed to draw support from their teammates as the SCA Kings bowed 51 for 13 to the Wanderers. Venkat's valuable 3 wickets for no runs was the game's standout performance. Wanderers won by 31 runs. In the other weekend encounter, City Gladiators registered a commanding 47-run win over 8 Idiots. The Gladiators finished their innings at 133 for 9 with Gopi and Nagraj turning providers for their team as the duo managed 43 runs between them. Nikhil's 23 runs was a major contribution to the team's score as well. 8 Idiots looked confident of holding their own against the Gladiators, with Sachin and Vikrant putting 35 runs on the board. But Namit broke down the Idiots' efforts, dismissing 4 for just 3 runs. City Gladiators winning the game by 47 runs. Here's a look at the group tables in the Weekday League. In Group A, Old Monks led the way on better run rate as compared to second-placed Saints and third-placed Phillips. Over in Group B, Centurions and Carmen 8 were tied on 15 points each, with the Centurions ahead on run rate. City Gladiators' triumph over 8 Idiots saw them draw level on points with their rivals, and along with City NRI, the threesome have a good chance of breaking into the top 2 over the next few weekends.
Up ahead on the SCA Cricket Show, we speak to one of Singapore's brightest cricket stars. It's time for us to introduce a special guest. He's a current national cricketer and also a recent winner of the Division 5 World Cricket League. This is Shoaib Razak, an international who has been playing cricket for a long time now with Singapore. In fact, you and I played together in 2001. Shoaib, good to have you with us. But tell us, how did you get into the sport of cricket?
I was born in Singapore, brought up in Pakistan. I stayed there almost like 19-20 years in Pakistan. Obviously doing all my schoolings there, and I've played for KCC Zone 3 Blues in Pakistan, and my first coach was Zafar Jadoon, and he inspired me a lot to play, and I didn't actually first realize that I would play for Singapore, but I'm playing now for Singapore.
Did you have any burning ambition when you were a kid to try and take it to a national level, whether it was with Pakistan or in Singapore?
Well, I always wanted to, when I was seeing all these national players like Wasim Akram, Waqar Yunus, Imran Khan, they have been my biggest role model for that. It used to inspire me a lot when I used to play street cricket there, and always modeling my bowling actions to them, and always dreamt for it, but it just happened sort of playing for Singapore, and I'm very proud of that.
You came back for national service to Singapore, and then you got into the team. You played in the first the ICC trophy in 2001. What was that experience like for you?
It was a whole lot of new experience, that going overseas. That was my first international overseas tour for Singapore, and was a great feeling. I mean, playing against some different teams and at an international level. So quite sort of nervous, but it eventually went on well.
Well, fast forward 11 years and you're an older but wiser cricketer, do you feel?
Yeah, I'm as the age is going on, I'm learning quite new things. As you know that learning never stops. Every day I'm trying to improve myself, and to whatever the extent, and do the best performance for Singapore.
Well, you've been playing national cricket now for 11 years. How do you think things have improved since you made your debut?
Well, last 11 years has been we have quite ups and downs for cricket, but as you know that recently we have world winners for the Division 5 and we have promoted to Division 4. Previously we had a lot of couple of bad incidents that we couldn't exceed or we couldn't go up the higher ladder, and because of the sad incident happened in Nepal, and because of that we were back in almost down for 2 years due to that sad incident. But keeping a positive note, and hopefully inshallah we'll try to progress from here onwards.
Well, you mentioned some ups and downs there in those 11 years. What are those?
The lowest point was that when I couldn't play for Division 5, which happened 2 years back in Singapore, but proved myself and came up in this year Division 5 and highest wicket taker for Singapore.
And is that also your best high?
Yes, it is.
Tell us, what was it in you that made you become that highest wicket taker in Division 5? What do you think was the main factor for you?
I challenged myself that I would take the most wicket as of now for Singapore. Being the burning in my heart that I couldn't play Division 5 last year because of intense competition, but I challenged myself and worked my way throughout, and I did it for Singapore.
Well, you've had some very high-profile coaches in your time, Marwan Atapatu and Trevor Chappell. What have they brought to your game? How have they helped you?
Well, these two coaches have been significant into my career in some sort of whatever I've played. Marwan, of course, he always pushed me around, and Trevor, as you know, he was always behind me and telling me that work hard and all this thing. I didn't want to let any of these high-profile coaches down just because of anything, and I proved my point with all my hard work.
Have you changed your action in any way? Have you differed in your game in any approach in the last 11 years?
Not much of a difference, but I just challenge myself that I will bowl and I will work the maximum out of it, because it's a very big event. It was a big event for me, and wanted to see Singapore in much higher level from now onwards.
What realistic goals are you setting yourself for Division 4?
Of course, we will inshallah try to win that Division 4. Teams are going to be competitive. It's going to be a huge challenge, but with all our sincere effort and hard work, we'll definitely achieve that.
I want to ask you now, do you regard yourself as an all-rounder, Shoaib?
After WCL Division 5, nope, I just want to focus on my bowling.
Division 4 is going to be pretty tough for you guys. What are the weaknesses that you've seen in the team that can be improved on?
As of now, I was, to my point of view, we are quite good. As of now, I can't see any weaknesses. But the only thing is that we have to work hard in our batting side, and of course, feeling is good enough because Trevor was there, and as the days will go by, we'll definitely improve ourselves.
Where do you see the future of Singapore cricket heading?
Definitely. As a national player and playing there for Singapore for so many years, and we have seen a couple of youngsters as well coming up. Definitely Singapore has a future, and with all the support and players' hard work, we'll definitely reach to a goal which we want to.
It's interesting you brought up the youngsters, because you are, of course, a full-time coach here and you're in charge of development. How's that been working out?
I mean, it's been working great. We have a couple of youngsters who are coming up and knocking the doors to enter the team, and they are working hard. We have been working them for a couple of years, and it's good to see them playing with us shoulder to shoulder.
What ideas have you implemented for development here, and what further plans do you have in the future?
We are working basically we have a Kallang Colts division where we have a Division 1 where we have the youngster playing, and of course me and Saad plays with them, and in between the game we try to guide them so that they whatever the experience from us, and definitely playing with them we have to be as a role model, and they really look up to us.
And you've already identified some really key talents for the future.
Yes, there are we have Abhiraj, Anish is coming up well. We have Irfan also, who has improved a lot, and a couple of more players.
And what about Shoaib as a person? You've been with the SCA as a full-time coach for 9 years now. What are your plans for the future?
Well, there's no stopping for either for cricket or for coaching. I've always improved myself day to day in either being cricket or being as a coach in the centre, so that I can promote cricket and to get more youngsters for Singapore.
Well, thanks a lot, Shoaib. Really good to have you on the show, and good luck for the future.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's just about it here on the SCA Cricket Show. We hope you've enjoyed this episode, and as always, we'll be back with more domestic cricket action and many more player profiles. If you've got any feedback for us, please do send it at the email address on the bottom of your screen. For now, though, from all of us here on the SCA Cricket Show, it's goodbye.